there's so much about Corey. There's an old deep dive I did. I have to pull it up, but he talks about Ye called in. Part of the reason that I started the Ye page is because at the time, I truly believe that he was trying to expose all of this demonic stuff in the music industry. Because if you guys remember, all the posts that he would make talked about these agencies, and he talked about Corey being a fed. He was literally posting crazy. It looked crazy at the time, but like I always had a feeling like he was speaking the truth. But now he doesn't post anything like that.
It's very
and
weird.
You got to wonder why.
The swerve he took. Sometimes I wonder if it got too evil and they told him.
Or did he get threatened, like with the kids
he got
or something?
threatened, something, when we do like Tim Pool's show on IRL, he'll bring up like, people talk about, I want to disclose all this information. I want to like unleash, I want to, dismantle all these institutions. And then, the deep state comes around and shows you a picture of JFK's head getting blown off. And be like, oh, do you really? And then how many people are still going to go do it, right? So I do. Because
after Alex Jones, he never said anything again.
There was like one rant
in Vegas that was just kind of repetitive. Yep. It was about the Twix making us fat.
But
and then
exactly. That's right.
Like it wasn't anything noteworthy, but
it wasn't that great.
He said that Corey Gamble was a fed and that he was sent by the Dem. He's tied in with the Dems too. He like criticized him for getting into the deep state of the Dems. He said that ruined his marriage.
Yeah, he and I had a long talk about like not sex magic so much, but just the evil ways people use sex against you in Hollywood and or sell it for personal evil gain. And I didn't make it part of my profile of him because it was just like far out from what we were talking about, because we were already talking about Hitler and everything from the InfoWars stuff and all that fun era. But at some point, I mean, he knows I have all that recording. He told me to record it all, and he called it, and maybe we should put this out, but he called Hollywood and everything going on out there the empire of sex.
We should definitely put that out.
Yeah, I'll have to find it. It was from when we were in the studio, and he was talking about all that, and we were talking about the Kardashians. Kim is calling, all these problems. It was actually Jay-Z's birthday that I was with him.
Oh,
so we're talking about Jay-Z and all this stuff. So I don't know. There was something like he was totally plugged into something that I was also thinking about how evil people are, people in power, and he's seen it. I like to think
he also struggles with sex addiction himself.
Oh, for sure. Very openly,
and he's open about it.
Very openly, and I think that's another thing that could have gone down with him and what's been going on the last year or so with him, which I don't agree with it, but it's really hard to see.
Well, I met him in February, and that's all he talked about was sex.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I had the experience you had with him.
Like I made a sex joke and he loved it.
Right. I wouldn't have talked about those things unless it was an empire of sex stuff. Like, when you were with him, he seemed to be on a different wavelength.
Well, he just got the teeth done. So right after the grill, it seems like it was like.
Right. And they're gone now.
No, they're not. I
thought he changed them up. When he was in China or Japan, he changed them up.
I don't think so.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
But he looks really good. Today there was a photo leaked and everyone's like, I just wrote, did the CIA decide to throw the real Kanye back into the Matrix? Because we're seeing this new photo surface of him in China where he looks 5 years younger.
He does look better.
He's lost like 15 pounds.
He does look better.
Everything's very weird. Everything's strange. I think we need to just keep an eye out on all of these big people.
The thing with Kanye is I don't think people, the first time I did your show, with the Green Girl show, which I love that show. You asked about him if I thought he was a clone. And at that point, it was well before any of this news, any of the things that I thought were going wrong in Kanye's world. And I was like, no way. And I do think clones exist. When it came to Kanye, even when he was doing things that I publicly thought were bad, and he looked different, I didn't think it was a clone. I think it was someone probably under some type of spell or under depression, right? Because there's moments where I see videos of him and he'll laugh or he'll say a joke. I'm like, that's him. Like he's still underneath there. I think he's strong enough to break whatever spell he might have been put under. Because I think there's some MK Ultra stuff going on with him. He said that publicly towards the end of my time with him a lot. He talked about going away. He worried about MK Ultra for sure. He worried about bad things happening to him, like Michael Jackson. or Prince, who were both taken out for various reasons. You know, it's all speculation, but Prince was talking about contracts. Michael Jackson was talking about contracts. You know, Michael Jackson's doctor gave him a deadly dose of the milk of the opiates. And then someone gave Prince what he thought would be a painkiller. It turned out to be fentanyl. And Prince was killed by fentanyl. And no one ever got that person, you know? So,
but then, yet they are finding out Matthew Perry they're like going after the Matthew Perry people.
I wonder how many deaths aren't as accidental as they were. You know who I've been thinking about a lot lately is deaths like Aaliyah or Lisa Left Eye Lopez.
Everyone's saying, did you hear that the Aaliyah like theory?
No.
Isaac, when he was on the House and Habit podcast, he said that Aaliyah was allegedly seen taking some type of pill.
Whoa.
And was unconscious, and then they carried an unconscious body onto the plane to make it look like.
Holy
That's
crap.
Apparently a conspiracy theory about Aaliyah's death.
I mean, it sounds like the Anne Heche.
Who is the heiress that died about 15 years ago? That there was a whole thing with, it was Tila Tequila's girlfriend.
I know.
And they stopped her from getting her dogs, and they put the dogs down with
what?
The heiress. Yeah.
That's demonic.
So she went to the house. This is on video of her going.
Really?
Yes, you can watch the video. She goes to the house, to her girlfriend's house. I can't remember. She's an heiress of one of the like major, like not Warren Buffett, but something like that, you know.
Right.
And she went to the house to get, it was like 3 Pomeranians. And the authorities literally stopped her and they're like, you can't take them. They were perfectly fine dogs, but they put the dogs down with the heiress.
What?
Yes. And it was an overdose death. And there was
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Dude, seriously though, that's another thing.
You guys think that's true?
I think it's possible. Yeah, I do.
I just hope it's not.
I think it's
as
possible.
a major dog person, I hope it's not true.
I think there's cannibals running around in this country.
100%.
And then many of them are in the government. You know, I think it's possible. I think what happened was people put out bad information on Springfield, Ohio, used pictures not from Springfield, from different times, and then people were able to use that to
discredit the story.
But so I don't know if people are right now eating cats and dogs. But there are people from Springfield, Ohio, going to like their local hearings and saying these people are like taking the ducks from the local pond. They're crashing into all these places. They have a huge problem. So, you know, news breaks, seems severe. Then kind of an absurd part happens. Everyone thinks it's true. It may or may not be. And the people who want to counter that narrative say it's all conspiracy, it's all fake, and then it gets memed into oblivion.
A lot of people think they planted that story just to get they know that Trump would like love that type of gossip.
Right.
A lot of the people are saying like, was that a strategy that
it backfired then, because then it turned into a TikTok dance.
Like I was at my friend's house the other day in Monterey, and when I walked in, his 7 and 9-year-old were blasting the song. Everybody it slaps. Like,
It's a
for real.
good
It's
song.
better than Vultures too.
Wow, shade thrown. Well, I mean, I agree. 1 and 2.
It's such a good song. I don't know why it's so funny.
It's great. It's great. Trump is great at making those moments. So when it comes
today, we're seeing Trump with Zelensky. Like it's like no matter who gets elected, I don't have hope really for you. And I feel like you're the same.
I have hope in people coming to the brink of darkness and then having a revival of morality and changing their community. And from there on upwards, I don't have hope in the government changing much. I'm voting for Trump. I like Trump. I think he's funny. He's definitely flawed, but he's, I think, the person that can hopefully make some change. But we've seen him in there before and not do much change. And
Even if Trump wants to make change, it just obviously look at it. It's like, is he just a puppet too?
Well, yeah. I mean, we've had people on this show who think he's the Antichrist. You know,
I've heard that.
People who think he's obviously he's either flawed, he could be the Antichrist, all these things. I don't think that.
I asked some guy at the DNC, do you think I was doing street interviews and I asked him, do you think Trump is the Antichrist? And he barely spoke English and he goes, does that mean he is against Jesus? That was such an innocent answer.
I love that. So he's like not obviously.
Like, what
not
does that
living on the
mean?
internet. Right. There's people who believe he's the Antichrist, believe that he's in place to look like a victim, become more beloved, and then get into power and become like this totally evil tyrant.
I honestly,
I don't see
judging
it.
off the energy, I don't even think he's that invested. Trump seems kind of checked out.
Well, I mean, once you try to kill someone a few times, I'd imagine it changes your demeanor.
And also, he didn't gain sympathy from the assassination. People that already had Trump derangement syndrome don't like him anymore.
I know.
They just say it's a fake Band-Aid.
Yeah, exactly. People immediately were questioning whether it was a hoax or not. The same people who say Alex Jones should be put in prison for questioning Sandy Hook immediately turned around and said Butler, Pennsylvania was a hoax. So these people have no moral, center whatsoever. They just hate someone enough to believe anything anyone says about them, which is bring it back to Diddy. Is like, I don't like Diddy, and I'm trying to not believe everything that I'm told. However, another thing I find interesting and curious what you thought about it is that the bodyguard situation that said he had. Did you hear about this? There was that guy who was.
Oh, is it Gene Deal?
Is that his name? I don't remember his name. The one I'm thinking of is a guy who was arrested for possibly shooting inside of a Trump hotel, actually. And then he said,
you're talking about the sex slave.
Oh, you said he was a sex slave. That's right. I got it wrong. Yeah. What's that guy's deal?
I actually haven't read that story yet. It's on
weird.
my to-do list.
It's weird. He does a whole. This is years ago, before it became more public information about Diddy, that he was a sex slave for Diddy. It's pretty.
I believe that Diddy had sex slaves. I mean, it's coming out.
Yeah.
But it's like, that could be like a sexual. It's like we need, like, how were they? You know what I mean? Like, how did this guy? Is he getting paid fairly? Were they treating him right? Like,
was a sex slave getting a nice wage?
Porn, or was it unethical? Like, that's what we're gonna have to find out.
Well, yeah. I mean, the way they define trafficking will come into play.
Did you see yesterday? TMZ's trying to they're. This is the biggest story ever. They're getting so many clicks with every Diddy story, but they posted an old photo of a party, and it was that same type of birthday party that Kanye had, where it's the naked woman laid out on sushi and people are eating off of the naked woman. I forget what it's called. It's like some tradition.
Stupid.
But they posted it and said, like, check out these crazy Diddy parties. And there was Owen Wilson. It was like in the background. There was a few other celebrities, but I'm just thinking, well, that's not a crime to have that type of party.
No, not a crime to have that type of party. I would not want to be at that type of party, though.
And Kanye had that type of party.
And I thought it was weird when he did it. I was like, that's weird. His kid was eating sushi. I thought that was extremely inappropriate.
Didn't you speak out against that?
I did back then, and I'll do it again now. I think it's extremely inappropriate to have your children around that, and you yourself shouldn't be around it. I think it's weird. It's not a crime. I think it's immoral. I think there's something weird about it.
It's weird though, because everyone thought that Ye was like the only celebrity to do it. It wasn't until last night that I knew Diddy did it first.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't even the first time I'd seen that type of thing in like Hollywood or celebrity world. Like, they love doing that. Abramovich does that kind of thing,
Abramovich does it,
and and Jay-Z loves Abramovich. They're best friends. They do all the spirit cooking, in my opinion.
Yeah. The spirit cooking's a whole other.
That's your next rabbit hole.
How do you want to conclude this? Is there any?
What do you think's happening next? Do you think?
Why did someone say fix your hair? What's wrong with my hair?
It's on fire. You're on fire.
It's like, sorry, I'm wearing headphones.
What do you think's happening next? Do you think we're going to get any answers from this? Like, thinking about the Epstein stuff, people are still today asking for the list. Do you think we get any kind of conclusion to that?
Depends on who they want to take out, right?
Yeah. And will you believe it?
And also, Diddy's lawyer.
Oh yeah, I love this guy. Let's talk about Costco really quick.
Why would you say Costco?
Costco has come out and denied this.
Is this all just like a humiliation? Is this all just like a mockery of society?
Well, I do think that's part of all of this.
Or did he just pick a bad lawyer?
Well, there's probably that, but his lawyer is connected to other weird stuff. Didn't he do the Nexium?
Yep.
Oh, sex cult, right? Like, come on,
yes.
Like, you're picking this guy.
But he lost. Like, the guy got like 120 years in prison and had to pay a lot of money.
So what? And
Diddy's like, that's the guy I want representing me. And then today or yesterday he said, I don't know, man. I just don't think I'll be able to keep Diddy off that stand because Diddy wants to testify.
I hope he testifies.
Oh, he's going to. That's what it was reported.
If he makes it. If he makes it. I don't know if he'll make it out of prison.
There's a clip where Diddy said the last words he wants to be are, I did it.
Right. If that's all he says when he's on the court. See, like,
imagine he just said that.
With me, as paranoid as I will get, and I'll say publicly, is I think it's a possibility that there's just another Diddy, a lookalike Diddy. They're gonna, take that one out, let the real Diddy send him out to wherever he can go and live another life in a celebrity witness protection program, maybe underground, close to hell, like what they did to Epstein, which it was fine for everyone when Epstein, quote unquote, died to be like, it wasn't really him, I think that's not beyond the realm of possibilities. We have presidents and we have dictators who have body doubles. Look at these things that they're doing with the sex magic and the trafficking, the mutilation of innocence amongst children, widespread murder, corruption. They'll do anything. So it's like, maybe he'll say, I did it, doesn't care. There's no repercussion. There's no accountability. He knows he's going to go into some sweet little island and live out the rest of his days.
Right.
And he'll be given more sex slaves because this government, the deep state, whatever you want to call it, promotes that crap.